Hello and welcome to Legalese. My name is Vincent Perryman and I'm a local attorney with the law offices of J. Vincent Perryman. Each month, Legalese focuses on a wide range of legal issues and topics. Today's show covers bankruptcy law. With us now is Bill Jones with the Jones Law Firm. Bill, thanks for being with us today.
No problem. It's good to be back again.
Bankruptcy is such a broad area, and I know that there are, you've got the creditor side of it, you've got the debtor side of it, you've got what individuals file, what businesses file. I guess just to start our discussion and to focus, let's talk about consumer bankruptcy, and I think generally that's either a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. If you could just give us an overview of those.
Sure. If you're a consumer, you're basically going to file under a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. Chapter 11 is going to be reserved for larger corporations. Most people, if you hear about that, you're going to hear about that an airline industry is going to restructure under a Chapter 11. But for the general public, what they're looking at is going to be a Chapter 7 or Chapter 13. The two different types of bankruptcies are going to handle different types of debts in different types of ways. Now, you and I, generally speaking, are going to think of two types of debts. We're going to think about secured debt, which would be, that would be your house or your car. Those are debts that are secured by that collateral. The other type of debt would be unsecured debt. Now that's going to be your credit card bills, your doctor bills, the $3.84 that you owe Blockbuster when you turn in a movie late. Those are unsecured. There's no collateral in there. If you go to the doctor and get stitches put in and you don't pay your doctor bill, they're not going to come take those stitches out. That's unsecured debt. That's generally the only types of debt that most people know about. Bankruptcy adds a third type of debt, and that's priority unsecured debts. These are debts that are unsecured, but they're given a priority. It's that whole golden rule. The government wrote the bankruptcy code, so they get to decide which debts can't be discharged. And they decided that priority debts would be alimony, student loans, child support, and my personal favorite is student loans. So those are things that the government says you cannot bankrupt. So the first thing we're going to do when we talk about bankruptcy is we're going to divide those three types of debts into three different pots. And in a Chapter 7, what we're going to do is we're going to take the unsecured pot and we're just going to wipe that debt clean. The secured debt, you're going to have two options. You can choose to either keep it. Yes, I'll keep paying on it. I'd like to keep it. Or you can surrender it. The unsecured priority debts, you're just going to have to pay that back. If there was a way to bankrupt student loan debt, I would have figured it out a long time ago, and I would have done it myself. But one of the valuable tools that you get in a Chapter 7 is the ability to either reaffirm or surrender that secured debt that we're talking about. Again, that would be your house or your car. In a regular scenario, if you don't pay your car note or your house note, what are they going to do to you?
Well, they're going to repossess it.
Right, or they're going to foreclose on it. And if they foreclose on it, let's say that your house is worth $100,000 and they foreclose on you and they sell it at auction for $50,000. What's going to happen to that remaining $50,000? Well, if they foreclose on you, you still owe it.
Yeah.
You still owe it to the bank. In a bankruptcy scenario, you can just say, you know what, I'm done with it. I don't want it anymore. Take it back. You don't have to worry about the foreclosure. You don't have to worry about owing on it. It gives you the ability to ditch it. But to get into 7, to get into a Chapter 7, you've got to pass some tests. Mainly what you've got to pass is a means test. It used to be that you could just file, but now we want to make sure that you're not filing when you have the ability to pay a certain portion of these debts. I can't give you what the golden number is. It's going to change based upon the size of your household, the size of dependents that you've got, and literally what county you live in. The number will change. But if you earn under a certain amount, then you can file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And that's something that you're going to need to consult with an attorney about, to have them run that means test on you and see whether or not you can file a 7. A 7 is also a liquidation. What that means is that you're only going to be allowed to keep a certain portion of your assets. If you have assets in excess of the exemption amount, then you're going to be pushed into a Chapter 13. So there's some definite criteria that you have to meet in order to qualify for a 7, namely that your income has to be below a certain level, your assets cannot be in excess of a certain level, and you have to have your ticket in. Under the new Bankruptcy Act, one of the things that you have to do in order to file is you have to go online, or you have to go in person to a class or call into a class and go through some credit counseling. It may be a day late and $1 short, but the government still wants you to call in or go to a class and hear these are some ideas and these are some ways that might be helpful to you in handling your finances. Before you can file bankruptcy, you have to have that. A lot of the time, people want to know, well, do I have to put everything into a Chapter 7? Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a family friend or a mom that's loaned you money, or a pediatrician that's really done a great job with your kids. The answer is yes. You've got to put every debt that you owe in your bankruptcy. You can't pick and choose. I want to bankrupt these people. I don't want to bankrupt these people. That's the general overview and that's a very broad overview of a Chapter 7.
Okay. When we return, we'll continue our discussion about bankruptcy law. Please stay with us.